Good afternoon, everyone. Now, for today, again I felt like cooking something in lieu of the lovely nice weather we're having, some good comfort food. And well, why not make a pizza? Now I hear some people say, wait, didn't we already cover pizza? Yes, we did. But we're going to be making something a little bit different. We're going to be making something that is considered either, well, French or German, depending upon from which side you're coming. It's a dish that's most typically known in the region of, or known for the region of Alsace, which, well, has shifted back and forth between the one and the other a few times during its history. But it's a very simple way how to make a, well, pizza style dish, but with a few other ingredients. Namely, what we will be using, that's going to be some onions. Now, a lot of recipes call for fromage blanc, so fresh cheese. I prefer actually to use some creme fraiche for this. We will be using some bacon, homemade. Now, I'm going to hear a lot of you say, well, is that mold, that green stuff? And I will tell you, well, yes it is. Now I know a lot of people are going to go like, ew, are you going to eat that? Response, yes I am. Now what I just want to explain is this is something that happens when you cure meat. So this is homemade bacon which has been curing for about 3 weeks and is now very lovely. Personally, I think after you've let it hang for about 2-3 weeks, the bacon is just ideally suited. So it's a little drier. Not dry, but a little bit dried out, so the flavors are a lot more concentrated. But what you do get is indeed that little bit of mold. Now a lot of people say, well, that's disgusting. But when you start to call it by its scientific name, namely, well, that's penicillin, a lot of people will go like, wait, isn't that a good thing? Well, yes it is. It's actually the very first antibiotic that we ever discovered. So that white stuff you see on basically cured ham, on cured sausage, that's actually that. Now what I'm going to do is basically I have a specific brush, so I will brush off most of the mold. So that it provides that lovely, the powder provides that lovely little funky sour flavor that I do like. If you really want to get rid of it, you can actually wash it in vinegar and that will help get rid of it and keep it away. But it's just natural, so very nice. Now, well, enough said, let's get cooking, guys. First order of business, that will indeed be, we're going to cut up our onions. Now, not 100% necessary depending upon the recipe, but we will give these onions a bit of a head start. So we're going to fry them up a little bit, and for which I actually prefer to cut them into, well, strips. So just as you can see, there we go, separate them into lovely little strips, and we will be frying these up. Now I'm working with my teeny tiny cutting board for today. Put the other one actually out to for a nice little oil soaking, and it still hasn't come out dry. So, but no worries, there's not a lot of cutting to do today. Next up, that'll be our bacon. So again, next up, that'll be our bacon. So, what I want to be doing, in my case, is slice up some nice, lovely slices and cut those into bite-sized chunks. Now I like a lot of recipes indeed will call for those little pre-packaged lardons that you can find pretty much in every supermarket. Now I like them a bit bigger. I like to really get a good bite of bacon when I'm biting in. That's also one of the reasons why I prefer to actually cut or pre-bake my bacon somewhat, so that we do get a lovely bit of cooked bacon and not raw bacon on our flammkuche. Well, we are into our first step. That would indeed be to, well, fry up our bacon. So in this case, voila, I've added just a tiny amount of some, well, coconut oil, what I use a lot for cooking. So, but we will first of course fry up our bacon. I don't want to cook this crisp, but I want to already give it a head start. As I said, I want this to cook through or be cooked through when it comes out of the oven. And of course, after which we can fry up our onions into our bacon fat. Now, I forgot to introduce one ingredient that I do want to add. That will be just some extra cheese. Now for me, I like a little bit more extra cheese on top, as if this dish wasn't rich enough already. So but we will grate some cheese to put on top, just like a proper pizza. Now, most traditional recipes you'll find are indeed just bacon, onion and fromage blanc or crème fraîche. But they also, you can, in most restaurants you can also find variations with mushrooms, extra cheese, etc. Now if you want to select a cheese, I would say choose something, because the rest of the ingredients is already pretty strong flavored. That's pretty mild. So what I have here, it's Comté, which is a French cheese from the region of Jura, which is, well, bordering actually the region of Alsace, so it's the border region with Switzerland. But you could also choose something like a Gruyère, Emmental, Alpenceller if you want, but something which is pretty mild, not too strong. Now, next port of call, that will be indeed our sauce. As I said, what I like to choose is some crème fraîche. I like that lovely fermenty flavor, to which I add just a little bit of, there we go, standard cream, just to turn it a little bit into a more smearable paste. Now this is also the part, so this is pretty much the consistency we're looking for. This is also the part where we can actually season this up. Some pepper, a bit of salt, not too much. The bacon and the cheese will already provide some salt by themselves. So, but there we go, a bit of salt. And I think what I'm going to put in as well, but I don't have on hand, that will be some nutmeg. But let's have a taste. Well, that's pretty much seasoned to my liking. It's time for our next step, namely we're going to roll out our dough. Now this time round I actually tried something pretty new. So we've allowed this dough to cold ferment. So that means something that a lot of pizza guys do is they allow their dough to basically ferment in the fridge for about, well, this one's had about 24 hours. So one thing is that our dough is now plenty hydrated, so I just coat it lightly in flour. Furthermore, again, I don't bother with any stretching and pulling techniques. Just use a rolling pin. Works just as nice, provide just as good a result. Our dough is pretty much stretched nice and thin as we want it. So it's of course time to start, well, assembling our pie. In which case we'll start by smearing out our sauce as liberally, of course, as we can. So, and of course, as with pizza, always leave a small little edge uncovered to grab onto. There we go. And of course, it's time to assemble, well, our onions. There we go, spread out nicely. These just look lovely. And of course, the great thing about assembling stuff like this, same as with a pizza, as soon as you really don't know where to put something new on there, that's when you probably have just right about enough. And that's all our onions. There we go. Now let's put on some lovely bits of bacon. Don't be stingy. Who doesn't like a good bit of bacon? There we go. Et voila! And all that's left is to top, in this case with, well, our cheese. And that'll be pretty much roundabout right. Same as with a pizza, this thing is going to go into a oven, well, as hot as you can get your oven. That's about the temperature you want, for about 8 to 10 minutes. And there we go, for about 8 to 10 minutes. Allow it to rest for another 5, and you're done for dinner. Well guys, our flammkuche has left the oven. She looks and smells, well, amazing. I'm about ready to get tucked in for dinner in about a few minutes time. Just leave this to rest for about 5 minutes. It's way too hot right now. So just dig in and enjoy, guys.